It started, as most things seem to in Austin, under the relentless Texas sun, with the promise of breakfast tacos and iced coffee. That's how I met Ben. 9 months. It feels both ridiculously short and like an entire era now, looking back through the smoke and shattered glass of how it ended. 9 months of believing I'd finally found something solid, something real, in the swirling chaos of my mid-20s. Ben was charisma poured into a well-fitted shirt. He worked in sales, software, I think, one of those jobs that involved a lot, of client dinners, networking events, and an easy confidence that could charm anyone. I fell for it. Hard. I'm a graphic designer. My world is colors, fonts, and pixels, carefully arranged to create a feeling. Ben felt like a perfectly designed composition, handsome, funny, attentive. Our first date was at a little wine bar off South Congress, the kind with exposed brick and string lights. We talked for hours, shutting the place down. He paid the bill, probably around $120, brushing off my offer to split it with a casual, "Next one's on you." The next few months were a blur of Austin cliches and genuine connection. We floated the Guadalupe River, sweated through outdoor concerts at Stubbs, shared countless meals at food trucks, arguing playfully about which barbecue was truly the best. We hiked the Greenbelt, swam at Barton Springs, curled up on my couch, binge-watching shows, sharing a $15 a month streaming bundle I barely used before him. He met my friends, including my rock, my best friend Chloe. She's a teacher, grounded and pragmatic, and even she was cautiously optimistic about Ben. "He seems really into you, Liv," she'd said after their first meeting over brunch. "Just keep your eyes open, okay?" Advice I'd fatally ignored. He integrated me into his life, too. I met his friends, mostly other sales guys and their partners. We went to a company holiday party where he proudly introduced me around. He remembered my coffee order, sent good morning texts that made me smile before my eyes were fully open, and talked about the future in that easy, confident way of his. We weren't rushing, but we'd casually browsed Zillow together one night, laughing at the impossible downtown Austin rents, $2,200 for a shoebox. But the implication lingered. Us, together, someday. For his birthday, I splurged on a sleek, minimalist watch, about $250 I probably shouldn't have spent, but I wanted to get him something lasting. He seemed thrilled, wearing it constantly. We even booked a non-refundable deposit, maybe $500 total, for a long weekend trip to Fredericksburg wine country, planned for what would have been our 1-year anniversary. Everything pointed forward. Then, around month 8, things started to feel off, like a design where one element is slightly misaligned, throwing the whole composition off balance. Ben got busier, or so he said. Texts went unanswered for longer, stretches. Weekend plans became vague, often canceled last minute due to work emergencies or needing to decompress. He traveled more for his job, which wasn't unusual, but the communication during those trips dwindled to almost nothing. When I tried to talk about it, he'd deploy that charm, deflecting with reassurances, blaming stress, making me feel needy for questioning him. "Liv, you know how demanding Q4 is," he'd say, pulling me close. "It'll ease up soon. I miss you like crazy when I'm gone." I'd nod, wanting to believe him, silencing the uneasy hum in my gut. The breakup, when it came, was brutal in its banality. It was a Tuesday evening. He'd canceled plans for the previous weekend, citing exhaustion. He asked to come over, and my heart leapt, thinking maybe he was finally going to talk, to reconnect. He arrived looking uncomfortable, avoiding eye contact. He sat on the edge of my sofa, the one where we'd spent countless hours, and delivered the lines that felt like they were from a bad movie script. "Liv, this is really hard, but I don't think this is working." My breath hitched. What? What are you talking about? What's wrong? "It's not you, really," he mumbled, staring at his hands. Classic. I'm not in the right place for this. I need some space to figure things out. Work is insane, and I feel like I can't give you what you deserve. Tears pricked my eyes. Ben, we can work through stress. Talk to me. What changed? Nothing changed, he insisted, his voice tight. It's just me. I need to be on my own, right now. He wouldn't elaborate. No specifics, no real reasons, just vague platitudes and avoidant jargon. He couldn't get out of my apartment fast enough, leaving me drowning in confusion and a tidal wave of hurt. 9 months, the planned trip, the watch on his wrist, the I love yous, whispered only weeks before, all dissolved into, I need space. The first week was a blur of tears, ice cream, and frantic calls to Chloe. She listened patiently, offering sympathy and tissues. He's an idiot, Liv, she said fiercely. He doesn't deserve you. I tried to make sense of it, replaying conversations, searching for clues I'd missed. Had I been too demanding? Was it really just work stress? My mind spun, desperate for an explanation that wasn't just the gut-wrenching feeling of being abruptly discarded. Then, about 2 weeks post-breakup, the first crack appeared in my grief-stricken fog. A mutual acquaintance, someone more on the periphery of Ben's circle, posted an Instagram story, a group shot at a popular bar downtown. And there was Ben, smiling broadly, arm casually draped around a girl I didn't recognize. He looked anything but stressed or in need of space. He looked happy, annoyingly happy. My stomach clenched. It was too soon. Way too soon for him to be looking like that, with someone new. I clicked on the girl's tagged profile, Sophia. Her profile was public. Pretty, brunette, worked in event planning according to her bio. Lots of pictures of brunches, rooftop pools, and group outings. Innocent enough, but something felt wrong. That night, sleep evaded me. I did something I swore I wouldn't. I deep dived. Not just Sophia's profile, but Ben's tagged photos, his follower list, location tags. It started as a morbid curiosity, a need to understand, but quickly morphed into an obsessive digital investigation. I noticed Ben had recently started following Sophia. Okay, maybe they just met. But then I scrolled further back on Sophia's profile. A group photo from 6 weeks ago, before we broke up. Ben was in the background, talking to someone, but definitely there. My heart hammered against my ribs. I checked Ben's followers again. He'd refollowed a couple of girls he'd conspicuously unfollowed when we first got serious, claiming he wanted to show me respect. Why refollow them now, so quickly? It all felt calculated. I confided in Chloe, showing her the picture, explaining my unease. Okay, Liv, she said slowly, zooming in on the photo. That timing is weird, but maybe it was just a coincidence, a work thing? Maybe, I conceded, though my gut screamed otherwise. But the way he broke up with me, so vague, so sudden, it feels like he was lining something else up. The next clue came a few days later. Another tagged photo, this time on one of Ben's friends' profiles, a weekend lake trip. Ben and Sophia were side by side, looking very coupley. The date, stamp? The weekend after he broke up with me. The weekend he'd supposedly needed space to figure things out. Rage, cold, and sharp, began to replace the hurt. Fueled by this new certainty, I kept digging. I cross-referenced dates, checked comments sections, looked at who liked whose photos. Sophia had liked several of Ben's photos months ago, during the time he and I were solidly together. There was a picture on her profile from a work conference 2 months back, a conference Ben had also attended. The pieces clicked into place, forming an ugly picture of deceit. He hadn't just met her. He'd likely been seeing her, or at least cultivating something with her, while he was still telling me he loved me, while we were planning our Fredericksburg trip. The breakup wasn't about his stress, it was about swapping me out for a newer model. The betrayal felt physical, a nauseating weight in my chest. It wasn't just the breakup anymore, it was the lying, the calculated deception, the months I'd spent, invested in a sham. I thought about the $250 watch on his wrist, the shared expenses, the future we'd discussed. It all felt tainted, fraudulent. I needed confirmation. I needed him to admit it. My fingers trembled as I opened Instagram DMs. Seeing his name there, the little green dot indicating he was active, sent a fresh wave of anger through me. I typed, deleted, retyped. How to approach this? Accusation would make him defensive. Feigned confusion? Maybe appeal to the shred of decency I hoped still existed. Me. Hey, Ben. Saw you seem happy. Just wondering. That weekend after we broke up, you said you needed space. Was that entirely true? He took ages to reply. I watched the typing blur indicator appear and disappear multiple times. Ben. Liv. What are you doing? It's over. Let's just move on. Me. I'm trying to understand. It felt so sudden. Seeing you with Sophia so quickly, it just makes me wonder. Ben. We reconnected after. That's all. Liar. The cold fury solidified. I decided to bluff, referencing the conference photo without explicitly stating I'd seen it on her profile. Me. Reconnected? Or was something going on before? Like around the time of that tech conference a couple of months ago? The pause this time was even longer. I could almost feel his panic through the screen. Ben. What are you talking about? Nothing was going on. Me. Ben, please don't lie to me. After everything, I deserve the truth. Seeing you two together, knowing you were both at that conference. It doesn't add up. Just tell me. Did you cheat on me with her? Another agonizing wait. Then, the admission. Not a full confession, but enough. Couched in self-pity and justification. But it was there. Ben. Look, it was complicated. Things weren't perfect with us, you know that. Sophia and I connected at the conference, yeah. Maybe things overlapped slightly. I didn't mean for it to happen, and I didn't know how to end things with you without hurting you. Me. Overlapped slightly? Ben, were you sleeping with her while you were still with me? Ben. It wasn't like that. It just got messy. It wasn't a direct yes, but it just got messy was a confession in his cowardly language. He wasn't denying the physical aspect. He'd admitted the overlap started months ago. My hand was shaking as I took the screenshot. The raw, ugly truth, right there in black and white text bubbles. Maybe things overlapped slightly. It just got messy. He hadn't just cheated. He'd admitted it. I stared at the screenshot, a Molotov cocktail burning a hole in my phone's gallery. What now? Part of me felt a grim satisfaction. I had proof. But another part felt sick. Exposing him felt dramatic, messy, potentially backfiring. I sent the screenshot to Chloe. Her reply was immediate. Holy sang. He admitted it. That slimy piece of work. What are you going to do? I don't know, I texted. Back. Part of me wants to burn his whole life down. Chloe. I mean, he kinda deserves it. But think about it, Liv. Is it worth the drama? We talked on the phone later that night. I paced my apartment, fueled by adrenaline and rage. He lied to me. For months, Chloe, I seethed. He let me believe we had a future while he was already starting something with someone else. And he's probably lying to her too. He definitely is, Chloe agreed. But posting it online? That's a big move. People will talk. Some might judge you. Let them, I retorted, though a flicker of doubt went through me. He curated this perfect image. Mr. Charming sales guy. Everyone thinks he's so great. They should know what he really is. And Sophia, doesn't she deserve to know he started their relationship by cheating? That he's capable of this? The thought of Sophia solidified my resolve. Maybe she was naive. Maybe she knew more than she let on. But the principle remained. Ben built his new relationship on a foundation of lies, likely continuing the pattern. Exposing him wasn't just about revenge for me. It felt like pulling a fire alarm, warning others. I considered the potential fallout. Mutual friends might take sides. Ben would explode. There might even be professional repercussions, though unlikely. Maybe just awkwardness if our professional circles overlapped slightly. I briefly wondered about the legality, the idea of posting private messages. Could he claim slander? It seemed unlikely to go anywhere legally. This felt more like social, not criminal territory. But the thought of him even threatening it made my blood boil further. He didn't deserve privacy for his deceit. My graphic design brain kicked in. How to present this? Just the screenshot felt blunt. I needed context. I opened Instagram, tapped the story creation icon. My fingers flew across the keyboard, drafting the text. For anyone wondering why Ben and I suddenly broke up after 9 months, I attached the screenshot, cropping it carefully to show his admission clearly. Turns out needing space was code for already cheating. Pretty cowardly way to end things, wouldn't you say? Then, the crucial part. The part aimed, not just at my own closure, but at shattering his current facade. And for the record, based on this timeline and his own admission, he wasn't just cheating on me. He cheated on his current girlfriend too, starting their relationship while still fully in one with me. Some things to think about. Truth hurts. Cheater. I hesitated before hitting share. My heart hammered. This was crossing a Rubicon. Chloe's cautionary words echoed. But the image of Ben's smiling face next to Sophia, built on lies, fueled my finger. I added it to my main story, ensuring it wasn't just close friends. I wanted his circle, our mutual acquaintances, everyone who saw his polished exterior, to see the rot underneath, share. The immediate aftermath was digital silence, the eerie calm before the storm. I watched the viewer list climb with obsessive intensity. 10 views, 50, 100. Names I recognized. Mutual friends, Ben's colleagues, people I barely knew. Each view felt like a tiny explosion. Then, my phone erupted. First, a string of rapid-fire texts from Ben. Ben, Olivia, what the fun did you do? Ben, take that down right now. Ben, are you crazy? You can't just post private messages. Ben, I'm going to effing sue you, the empty threat. Predictable. I didn't reply. I just read his panicked messages, feeling a cold, hard knot of vindication tighten in my chest. He wasn't sorry for cheating. He was terrified of being exposed. Then came the DMs. A flood of them. From Chloe. OMG Liv, you did it. Are you okay? From a mutual friend, Sarah. Whoa, Olivia. Saw your story. Is that true? That's insane. From one of Ben's closer friends, Mark. Liv, this is really low. Whatever happened between you two, posting it publicly isn't cool. From Amy, another friend. Good for you for telling the truth. He's trash. The reactions were a mixed bag, just as Chloe predicted. Support, shock, judgment. I responded to the supportive ones, ignored the critical ones for now. I felt strangely detached, watching the ripples spread through my social network. Then, A DM from an unknown account. Profile picture was a generic flower. The name simply S. My blood ran cold. Sophia. Did Ben really send you that? My fingers hovered over the keyboard. What did I owe her? Honesty? Silence? I chose blunt honesty. Me. Yes, that's a screenshot. From our conversation yesterday, S. He told me you were psycho and harassing him. Me. He told me he needed space because he was stressed from work, while he was already seeing you. Ask him about the conference 2 months ago. Ask him about the overlap. He admitted it to me. She didn't reply immediately. A few minutes later, just, okay. Then nothing. I wondered what conversation was happening on her end. Did she believe me, confront him, or choose blissful ignorance? I realized, with a pang of something complex, maybe pity, that she was likely just another casualty of Ben's deceit. My posting might have blown up her world too. The next few days were a social whirlwind. I blocked Ben on everything after, his 10th angry voicemail. Some mutual friends reached out, trying to mediate or understand. Others clearly picked sides, their silence or sudden coolness speaking volumes. It was awkward, draining. I leaned heavily on Chloe, dissecting every DM, every passive-aggressive comment, every sympathetic message. Was it worth it? Chloe asked gently one evening, over pizza and wine at my apartment, the scene of the breakup feeling less haunted. Now, I stared out the window at the Austin skyline, twinkling indifferently. I don't know if worth it is the right way to think about it, I said slowly. It wasn't pleasant. It stirred up a lot of drama. I lost some friends, I guess. Ben is furious. Sophia's probably devastated or confused. I took a sip of wine. But the truth is out there. His carefully crafted image is cracked. People know what he did. He didn't get away with it clean. And maybe, just maybe, Sophia is better off knowing now rather than later. I thought about the feeling of hitting share. It wasn't pure revenge, not entirely. It was about reclaiming the narrative. He'd tried to erase our 9 months, to paint me as the problem, to seamlessly transition to his next chapter without consequence. My post was a refusal to be silenced, a raw, messy, digital scream into the void saying, this happened. This was real. This was wrong. Months have passed now. The initial storm has calmed. Ben and Sophia, I heard through the grapevine, broke up shortly after my story went live. Predictable. He apparently told people I was unstable and doctored the messages. But the damage was done. Enough people knew him, or had seen the screenshot to doubt his version. He's kept a lower profile online since then. I don't regret posting it. Maybe there was a more mature, less dramatic way to handle it, but in that moment, hurt and enraged, armed with proof of his betrayal, it felt like the only way to puncture his lies. It wasn't about winning him back, obviously. It wasn't even purely about hurting him, though I won't deny a certain satisfaction in seeing his facade crumble. It was about exposing the truth he tried so desperately to hide, for my own sense of closure and perhaps as a warning flare for Sophia and anyone else who might fall for the charm. Life moves on. Austin keeps sweating. The traffic on I-35 is still terrible, and I'm still designing, creating, trying to make sense of things through visuals. The wound isn't entirely healed, but it's scarred over. It's a reminder of naivete, of betrayal, but also of a moment where I refused to let someone else control the story of my life, even if reclaiming it meant setting off a few digital fireworks. It was messy, it was public, and it was mine. And somehow, that feels like a start.